Hi, good morning. So this is for book one reading Land of Stories, The Wishing Spell, chapter 8 continued, right? That was a very long chapter yesterday and it was taking almost an hour, so I kind of stopped it. I know I stopped it at a random place. Please excuse my notifications that's popping up. Um, so I'm gonna finish it up. I know it's gonna be a little short, but I guess today's just gonna be a little bit of a short reading, okay? So yesterday, remember they met Cinderella. Wow, what a um honor, right? To meet Cinderella in real life after hearing about her in the kids Alex and Connor's fairy tale books, and now they finally get to meet her. And so Alex is starstruck, right? She has nothing to say. She's speechless. She's kind of frozen, and they ended up talking a little bit. And then Cinderella ends up giving a tour of her room with it's kind of like a museum, right? The mice are there, and then her old what's it called, raggedy clothes, and then her that turns into a ball gown every time the fairy godmother comes, and that's how the story ended, right? She's kind of giving a little bit of a tour of her room. So I'm going to continue from there, okay? Let's see, next page. So I'm going to go back and read that last paragraph before I read that first sentence because it kind of continues. Okay, so Cinderella and Sir Lambton laughed. Ooh, why did they laugh? Do you remember? I'm going to go back a little bit more. These are the brooms and buckets I used to clean my stepmother's house every day, Cinderella said. They were my first dancing partners. I remember whenever I was home alone, I used to dance with them around the house and pretend I was at the big royal dance. Although, I must say, they weren't the best at conversation. Cinderella and Lambton laughed. Alex and Connor were still in shock that they were in her presence. They were standing next to Cinderella, and she had a sense of humor. Over here are my raggedy old clothes that my fairy godmother turned into a beautiful ball gown. Cinderella continued. They're not much to look at now, but whenever my fairy godmother visits us, they turn into the beautiful ball gown she created for me. And there I continue. That's really cool, Connor said. These are my mice, Cinderella said, and showed the twins the miniature palace full of mice. She opened a latch and took a mouse out of the case. She gently petted it and it peacefully nestled in her hand. Are they the mouse that were transformed into horses and coachmen for your carriage? Alex asked, finally finding her voice. The original mice passed away, but these are the children and their children's children, Cinderella said. I took after them. Oh, sorry, I look after them as a thank you. They have a horrible reputation, but mice are actually very gentle creatures. You just have to give them a chance. Cinderella put the mouse back with the others and walked to the center of the room, and these, I believe, need no explanation, she said, and brought the twins to the glass slippers. She removed the glass case entirely and took one of the slippers in her hand. Those couldn't have been comfortable, Connor said. They were surprisingly easy to move about in, Cinderella said. Did your feet ever get sweaty? Connor went on. That couldn't have looked really. Alex elbowed him in the ribs. Cinderella snickered. Would you like to hold one? Cinderella asked them. Alex nodded harder than she had nodded before. Cinderella gently lifted one from the pillar and handed it to her. A magical feeling went through Alex. She was holding a piece of fairy tale history, perhaps the most famous object of all fantasy time was in her hands. She couldn't help but get a little bit emotional. Can you imagine holding the glass slipper? Oh my gosh, I'd be too scared to drop it. Oh, hi, Emerson. I just saw you right now. Good morning. Well, you're up early. Oh, well, it's 9, so it's not really early, is it? All right, I'm going to continue reading. Connor, on the other hand, kept thinking of ways to steal the slipper. Alex looked up at her brother and knew what he was thinking by the intensity in his eyes. For a moment they shared the same thought. Was it possible to take off with it? Connor was actually thinking if it was possible to outrun Lambton and the two guards outside the door. What do you guys think? Do you think they'll be able to run past the guards and Sir Lambton? I don't know. Sir Lambton's been kind of nice to them. I don't know if they should really ruin that trust, huh? All right, let's see. What was it like? Alex asked Cinderella. What was it like to go from being a servant to being a queen? What was it like to be saved from a horrible situation? Your life is literally, well, a Cinderella story. A sadness came to Cinderella's face. I never thought my life would change so drastically, so I always made the most of what I had, Cinderella said. I always laugh at the term Cinderella story because if you ask me, it doesn't matter what life you're living. Life never has a solution. No matter how hard the struggles are that you leave behind, new struggles always take their place. Ooh, I lost my place. What happened? There we go. Sorry, I don't know what happened there. That's true about life, right? You have one struggle and you're like, I cannot go through this. My life is horrible. It's so hard. Why is it so hard? Why is my life so hard? I wish I was so and so, right? You always wish that you're somebody else, right? But everyone has different stress, right? Everyone has different things to worry about. So there's always another stress or another struggle to that'll take place of the struggle that you're in right now. People forget that I wasn't liked very much by the people of the charming kingdom when I first came to live at the palace, Cinderella said. Not too many people were thrilled with the idea of being a servant girl becoming their queen. Many people called me the pumpkin princess or the mouse monarch when they first discovered the details of how I had come to the ball that night. I had to earn the kingdom's respect and it wasn't easy. Being a queen has to have some perks though, right? Connor asked. No more scrubbing floors or dancing with cleaning supplies or talking to mice. Meeting the man of my dreams and starting a family is the best thing that will ever happen to me, Cinderella said with a smile and rubbed her belly. And that is what makes me the happiest and luckiest woman in the world. However, living a public life is a difficult thing to do. And even now, I still find it a bit overwhelming. No matter what you do, you can never please everyone. And that was the hardest lesson to learn. In fact, I'm still learning it. Right? She's the most famous woman in the world. Everyone's looking at every move she does. Right? It's kind of like Oprah or any famous people out there. Right? Um, Everyone's eyes are on them. Right? And they get married and there's no privacy. So she's saying, and everyone analyzes. They're like, oh, they did this. It was wrong. It was bad. And they're looking at every move and analyzing it. So it must be hard, right? So no matter what they do, they can never please everyone, right? Everybody can't be happy with the life that they or the choices that they make. This was all such a revelation to Alex. Suddenly, the fairy tale world seemed even more real than it had before. She never thought she could respect Cinderella more than she already did, but she had never thought about the story from her point of view. Alex set the glass slipper back beside the other one. At first, Connor shot her a look. What are you doing? We have to steal that. But they both knew they couldn't take it, at least not tonight, not after the kindness they had been shown. After all the magical things that have happened in my life, this is my most prized possession, Cinderella said, her hand still on her pregnant stomach. And she's going to be here any day now. How do you know it's a girl? Alex asked. Mother's intuition, Cinderella said. She never sits still when she hears music. So she must have my taste and her father's energy. One of the one of the guards from the hallway burst into the display room. Your Majesty, Sir Lambton, your presence has been requested in the ballroom, the guard said very seriously. Something was wrong. What's the matter? Sir Lambton asked. Soldiers from the northern kingdom. They've come with a message for the king and the queen, he said. Lambton handed the twins their bags, and before they knew it, the twins were following him. Cinderella and the other guards out of the display room and down the hallway toward the ballroom. Now, how are we gonna get a hold of the glass slippers? Connor whispered to Alex. We'll have to collect all the other things first and then come back for it, Alex said. It should be easier to explain why we need it if we had the other items. We've already established a trusting relationship with them. I knew I should have grabbed one when I had a chance, Connor said. They entered the ballroom. All the other guests were still, and the orchestra was dead silent. Cinderella reunited with her husband at the thrones. Dozens of the same soldiers dressed in silver armor, whom Alex and Connor had seen on their first day in the land of stories, were now spread throughout the ballroom. Forgive our intrusion, your Majesty. My name is Sir Grant. I am the head of Queen Snow White's royal guard. We have news regarding the evil queen. The leaders of the soldiers said, "What is it?" King Charming said. Everyone in the room could tell it was not good news by his tone. You could have cut the tension and worry in the air with a knife. Last night, a magic mirror that belonged to the evil queen was stolen from her former chambers, Sir Grant said. The evil queen is still very much at large, and that she has her former mirrors makes her a much greater threat to all of us. We are asking, pleading, if anyone in the charming kingdom knows anything about where the evil queen is hiding, that they please let us know immediately. Snow White's soldiers filed out of the ballroom. King Charming and Cinderella embraced each other, worried both for themselves and for what the news meant for their kingdom. "It was lovely to meet you, children, but I must go now," Lambton said to them. He patted their shoulders, not soldiers, shoulders, and then headed out after the soldiers. Ooh, that's a tongue twister there. Many of the guests began leaving as well. Alex and Connor followed them out, down the entrance steps and away from the palace. "This whole evil queen situation is starting to concern me," Alex said. "I know, but it's not really our problem," Connor said. "We'll be long gone before anything else happens." "I suppose so," Alex said. "Where are we off to now?" Connor asked. "The Little Red Riding Hood Kingdom is north of here," Alex said. "I say that's the best direction to head. I hope we have better luck getting a hold of Red Riding Hood's basket." "We'd better not chicken out this time," Connor said. "Gosh, we were so close." He clenched a tight fist. "We just couldn't have taken it. Not without permission," Alex said. It wouldn't have felt right." "I'm so tired of being a good person," Connor said. Despite having failed to collect a glass slipper and the abrupt end to their evening, the twins had had a pretty fantastic night. It wasn't every day they got to have such an intimate conversation with one of the most famous women in history. Luckily, the twins found a night driver transporting a cart full of pears to a village in the northern part of the charming kingdom. They convinced him to let them ride in the back of his carriage in exchange for a few gold coins. It would be only a few miles' walk to the Red Riding Hood Kingdom from there. Connor fell asleep as soon as they climbed aboard. Alex couldn't sleep, so she decided to read the journal again. She reached into her bag and was astounded to discover what was inside it. What do you guys think was inside of it? Why was she astounded? Surprised? All right, let's see. "Connor!" Alex gasped. Connor jumped back into consciousness. "What is it?" he asked. He looked over and saw something very shiny in his sister's hands. His eyes were still a little blurry from sleeping, and he had to let them adjust before realizing what it was. "A glass slipper!" Connor exclaimed, and Alex gestured for him to keep quiet so the driver wouldn't hear him. "How in the world did we get one? Did you steal it? I thought it was you." Alex's mouth was so wide it could have fit a dozen of the pears inside it. "No, it wasn't me, I swear. Do you think Lambton or Cinderella put it in your bag?" Connor asked. "Do you think one of them knew we needed it?" "I have no idea," Alex said. She couldn't believe she was actually holding on to one of Cinderella's glass slippers. They were both completely dumbfounded. "Looks like our trip to the Charming Kingdom wasn't such a waste after all," Connor said. And that's the end of the chapter, guys. All right, join me for chapter 9 tomorrow. And chapter 9 is The Charming Kingdom. What? No, I just read The Charming Kingdom. My bad. I meant join me tomorrow for. Oh, that is a very long chapter. Oof, that's one of the thickest chapters, I think. Chapter 10 The Red Riding Hood Kingdom. Or I could have done the easier way out and just turn the page like that and let you look at that basket. And that's what they need, right? All right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. And don't forget to smash that like button right there. All right. And Emerson, I'll see you in like 2 minutes, okay? All right, bye, guys.